Hey guys, DPG here, and listen, I haven't made a video on how to whistle in a while because I've been keeping track of all the comments from the videos I have made in the past, and in particular, I'm getting a lot of response, but I just wanted to update regarding some comments I've had. I think there's a certain lack of clarity in tongue positioning, etc. So I'm going to try to show you the tongue and mouth positioning, and I will demonstrate it using both fingers and no fingers, because there are differences in the tongue positions, but overall there's a reason why the whistle sound happens at all, and it's because of this. So you see that shape right there? I can't even see it, it's so bright, but that V shape right there, it's like a bevel, okay? So you can see it here, and you can see it here. It's the same, right? Even here, you have to form that bevel. I haven't done this in a while, so I don't know if it'll work. A little rusty. Let's try this one. Okay, there it is. As you guys have seen with the fingerless, so here's the tongue position. In case I can't see anything. Like, this sun is so bright, it's kind of brutal. Okay, so tongue position is as so. And for those of you who can't get it, try to think of this, right? Try to think of being very, very delicate with your tongue. So practice that, just delicately touching, like, or even saying something like la 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 la. So that might help you if you don't have really good control over your tongue. La, 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 la. And then what you're going to need to do is transition to the opposite of that, which is la. Because when you're whistling, it's going to look like this. And what I'm doing is gently sealing the upper teeth while leaving space with my tongue. And what's left is a very, very small hole, okay? Which is similar to this hole and this hole. It also works with 4 fingers, but since I'm holding my camera, I can't really show you the 4 fingers, but maybe I'll put it down and show you at the end. So really, you got to work on that position. You also have to have this position, which is your tongue pulled across your lips, but you don't have to really do that hard. I mean, I can get a low whistle. And I'm not really doing much with my tongue or my lip. I'm protruding my jaw to kind of create a shape of this, right? And that right there, with the tongue and inside my mouth, if you can get that, then you can get everything, right? All the changing notes is all just different little modifications to that position, okay? So and so on and so on. I'm not going to blow too loud because everybody around me will just freak out. But the other thing to know is that the fingerless whistle will never be as loud as the fingerless whistle. And there's two reasons for that. Well, two reasons I'm guessing. One is that your fingers, they're much harder. They're much harder than your tongue and your lips can ever get. In particular, your tongue won't hold the position as strongly as your fingers. They're just harder. And the second thing is that the shape of your mouth, like the chamber inside your mouth, is much bigger, and like in most things in life, a bigger whistle equals a louder whistle. Okay, so for those of you who are saying, well, why can I whistle louder with my fingers? It's because it's a bigger whistle. It's not just restricted to the little chamber that you make between your tongue and your teeth. It's your entire mouth, and so it includes all the air below and inside and around. It's not sealed off because your tongue is replaced by your fingers. So you got your two fingers and just your lips, and all the space inside directed towards this little bevel shape. Okay, and so those are the fundamentals, but you really have to work on the lips and the tongue and the shape. But learn to flatten and learn to point, because one is the opposite of the other, right? You don't really need to make an actual U shape. What you really need to be able to do is just leave a little opening. And you see that shape? It's tiny. It's really, really small. So you don't have to really do anything too fancy with your tongue. It's more or less just flat. It's like you, instead of being kind of like on all fours, you're kind of lying down on the ground, if that's an apt comparison. But really work on that tongue shape. And actually, the way to work on it is to not work on it, is to just do the basics. Like, think of sounds that you have to make that require that shape of your tongue. La 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 la, ha ha. I don't know what I don't know what sound that makes. Actually, if you're like Hispanic or Latin or speak Spanish, where you're used to rolling your R's, I don't know if that's of any use, but practice things that require tongue dexterity, and then you'll realize that you can do most of these things. You've just never done it in this context. And then once you understand that you can do it, you will have more confidence and you'll be more likely to practice, because all of this requires practice. I took a long, long time to learn this. And I know that if you follow these instructions, you could probably do it in one full day of practice. If you just work on things fundamentally and don't expect to be able to just blast from the get-go. Okay, so I'm just in a spot where I can practice a little bit more. So I'll just try and show you up close as I humanly can, what it looks like while I'm changing notes. Okay, so, and apologies for the close-ups if I have any boogies or excess hair up my nose or anywhere else, and my old wrinkled skin, but here we go. So always start low and soft, because the low and soft sound is the easiest one to get, because you can't really do high and soft. Okay, so anyway, this is what low and soft looks like. And you can sort of, I'm going to do it really slowly, so hopefully, and then you can play it slowly, like at 0.25, and maybe you can do it in real time with me, okay? I'm actually forgetting how I do this. What you want to try and do is go beyond getting the note to hitting the note and then losing it on either side, right? Like I'm sort of expanding the chamber so big that it can't produce a note anymore at the lowest possible, breath, effort, and then kind of going the opposite direction where the chamber is too small or I'm blowing too hard to produce a note. So kind of like, okay. That's as low as I can go. That's pretty much as soft as I can go, more or less. Okay, so now I'll just go a little bit like from low to high and see what that looks like. Now I'm going higher. I gotta peel back my lip a little more. Right now, the teeth are really buried in my lower tongue. Like my teeth are down here. They kind of really curled back over. Kind of that idea. And now as I go higher, the teeth are going to push into my lower lip and bring it down. Like this. And I can even chirp like a bird by just making a teeny little hole and shooting little jabs of air. So it kind of sounds like sneakers on a basketball court. So that was a really, really loud high one. I just got all the dogs to look. Okay, so now we'll just do like a high one with low volume. That's not easy to do. So now my teeth are right under there. So there's very little overlap. A lot more tension right on the front here. A lot more tension right there. And the tongue is coming together. So it's not quite as, it's a little more, I think, hold on. Yeah, now the tongue is pressed up further towards the top of my mouth, okay? The top is pressed up further. And to get that high pitch of a sound, the air has to travel at a certain speed. So it requires blowing harder, but it's really almost like a th sound. So there's your sort of like, what would you call that? Ambulance kind of sound. And I'm actually concentrating on what I'm actually doing with my tongue right now. And basically it's going from going forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, so that at some point the middle of my tongue is almost blocking the roof of my mouth, so that it's got just a little chamber between the middle of my tongue and the little opening, right? And it's squashing it. So if you can imagine, this is just the middle of my tongue here, and this is the front of my tongue here. It is pushing forward, all like up and forward, and of course the opening stays more or less the same. It's really just the size of the chamber that's making the biggest change. And it's almost like a channel. It's like a bit of a channel. It's kind of hard to explain because I can't even see it myself. But if you work on especially the control factor, for those of you who have tongue issues that can't control your tongue and can't keep it in place, just work on things that require you to put your tongue in certain positions. And I can't think of them all at this second. I'll try and think of a couple right now and I'll come right back. So here's a couple of exercises I think you can maybe practice with your tongue if you are struggling. And that is to touch all of your upper teeth, like from the back all across the front to the back of the other side, like one side at a time. Start with the tip of your tongue, so like this. Okay, so once you can do that, then try touching the back of your tongue to the back of your upper teeth. First on the left side, then on the right side. Try and get independence, right? I've actually never done this before. It's not easy. And then just the very back of your tongue, touching the very back of your teeth, so that the front of your tongue is still out there front. And right now I'm just trying to touch my upper rear molars. And now roll it forward so you're touching more and more of your tongue on either side all the way up to the front of your teeth. And then back again. So what you're left with is, as you close your mouth and you're rolling your tongue kind of forward, is you're kind of left with the position we're talking about, which is and there you have it, folks. There you have it. Love it. It's so much fun to do. See if I can still do it with these babies. Yeah, there you go. I can blast the crap out of that. Like, that's by far my loudest. If I blow that in a sporting event, it's literally deafening. Like, you know, when you feel like you're gonna go deaf, that's the sound. So for this, just, you know, to cover this quickly, this is why you need to operate the tip of your tongue. And then it goes into your mouth. Watch, I'll do it in slow motion. Now in this case, basically, the fingers are sitting on top of the tongue, and the fingers are not hitting the roof of my mouth. It's possible that you can get a sound from the roof of your mouth, But in my case, those fingers are basically sitting in the middle of my mouth, and they're kind of pushing the tongue down, which may also make it easier because you don't have to be able to control your tongue as much, because you can actually push it down with your fingers a little bit. And when I'm making that sound, just for the record, I'm pushing my tongue forward but holding the tip of it in position. So it's kind of that effect. The middle is coming forward while the tip stays back. Okay, so you can do it with various finger configurations. I don't think there's any finger configuration except maybe one finger. You need a bevel, so I don't think a one finger would work, but you might be able to do it like this. Somehow. I'm going to work on that one. I'm going to work on the one finger. But so far all I know is the two fingers, and this one works the best for me. This one comes out, so you're flipping the bird, and these are coming together like this. And you just blow a little harder, frankly, while that idea. Okay, the tip's staying in position more or less, and you're just pushing the middle of your tongue forward. And I guess the effect of that really is to change, the streamlining the airflow a little more, because I can imagine if my tongue is sort of in this position and then I push it forward, then it's more of a direct path to the exit. And the exit is that shape, that bevel, right? That is the exit. So the more direct path and the more force, it's more airspeed, and it's not having to travel as many times around the chamber before it exits. I'm not 100% certain on that one. You could probably ask somebody who knows a little more about how tubas and trumpets work and whistles, how they work in general. But it's really just, it's chamber of air. The bigger the chamber, the louder you can make the whistle, but it requires more and more force to create the high pitch with a smaller and smaller opening. And you can test this out when you blow across a bottle. It'll make that really, really low sound with a huge bottle and a higher sound with a smaller bottle. And you kind of have to blow really slow over a big bottle, right? It's like, ooh. And with a smaller bottle, you blow a little faster, because there's just sort of a natural resonance that every sort of instrument has, and your mouth included. So hopefully this is helpful, guys, and hopefully I was to the point. I won't get too many critiques about my talking, and let me know how else I can help. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. So I also wanted to show you that you can make these same whistling sounds with just your lips. So that's for people who maybe have big gaps or missing teeth or what have you, or just want to imitate their fathers or somebody who taught them. And that's simply to be able to do this. You can do this, or you can do this. Same difference. I don't practice that very often because I can't get quite as loud and I can't control it as well. But for as little as I practice it, which is never, it's still pretty easy. Right? And I got pretty skinny lips. And I don't know if that matters, if it makes it easier or harder. But so what basically happens when you're using your lips your top lip. You're always using your bottom lip, but when you're adding your top lip in, your bevel, your shape is created between your tongue and your upper lip instead of your tongue and your upper teeth. Okay, so normally I'm doing this, but the shape doesn't really change of my tongue that I can detect. You're gonna have to tell me, because this is what it looks like when I use my upper lip. I don't find I get as pure of a sound as well with the upper lip, because I don't have to control the shape of my teeth, right? They're static. They're always that shape. But when you introduce the upper lip, you have to control the shape of your lip as well as the shape of your tongue. So you just got more things to think about and more things to control. And since the upper lip, your lips are, soft, malleable, they can get out of shape. So it makes more sense to me that if you can do it, and small gaps shouldn't be a problem. I mean, there's gaps in all of our mouths, so you may get some hissing and but it's going to be overpowered by the whistle itself. But if you really need to do the lip thing, it's totally doable, and there you have it. Okay, and as promised, I wanted to show you how to do the four-fingered whistle. It's the same concept for all of these. So you're just creating this, see the bevel shape right in the middle? There it is, baby, it's the bevel. And same thing, so before I did this, now I'm gonna do it with this, but it can be, I don't even think it can be as loud as the two finger, because your mouth is so stretched out and it's hard to blow with your mouth that open, especially if you have huge fingers, but mine are decent size. So thankfully I've cut my nails today. Easy, right? That's basically it. And the same thing with this shape is you're just kind of forcing the middle of your tongue forward, and you do have to make things a little bit tighter. Like that's a really clear sound, like almost like a coach's whistle. So knowing that, I know I can also blast the you-know-what out of it. That is really loud. And all I'm doing is I'm not really changing anything except for the tongue inside. Everything else probably is getting a little bit tenser to accommodate the increased pressure, but it doesn't feel like it. No, very little is moving, as you can see, right? I just can detect that my tongue is kind of doing that, being held in, and the tip is being held in place by my fingers. But again, not doing any of that. It's just the tip, as they say, just the tip. So hopefully that's helpful. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, let me know. Oh yeah, I thought I would actually give you the overhead view if I can, right? And having the camera in one hand, or sorry, sitting on its own, should help me a little. So this is what it's going to look like more or less from above. So you can see the shape changes, and the whistle is more right over the top of the lip at the high end, and well, maybe it's even less over the lip at the high end, because in the low end it's like this. And at the high end it's all the way to that. So that's basically what it all kind of looks like. And with the fingered, it's all in the tongue, baby. Lots of plays on words here. Fun times. But listen, you guys, you got everything you need. All you need to do is practice, and if there's things that you can't do, then you need to just practice those little things and use little mind games on yourself. So if you can't do certain tongue positions like that, you need to figure out, okay, when do I need to do that in speech? La 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 la. You know, just do la 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 all the way from the back to the front, like ra 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 la 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 la. Super delicate. You don't need to hammer anything. You don't need to. You know, this is very delicate work here. This is surgery that we're doing here. And for the low whistle in particular, you almost need no force whatsoever and almost no shape. It's really just allowing the airflow will almost make the hole for itself if you can just hold the rest of the tongue in place, right? Because if you blow, then the air is going kind of this funnel, and it's just going to force itself out at the front because that's the direction the air is going. That's where you need to get to, is just that sound. If you can do that, sky's the limit. And those, when you feel that whistle happen, you'll go, oh my gosh, I've got it. And if you can't get back to it, then you need to stay with it longer. Because, yeah, sometimes you're going to do a high whistle, or so you're going to practice high whistle, and then you're going to lose the low whistle. So I highly recommend getting really good at the low whistle. And honestly, it's going to tire your jaw out. You know you're doing something right if your jaw is getting tired from doing this, from protruding your jaw, because there is a certain amount of protrusion going on. Here, I actually never done the side one. Now here we'll go a little higher. Whoa, that is hard on the old mouth. Now I'll just blast a couple, okay? That's basically almost the sound of a cardinal. If you hear those cardinals? Okay. So now you know what it kind of looks like from the side, the top, the inside, as close as I can get. Maybe I can get one of those little cameras that goes in your ear. I think I actually have one. Maybe I'll put it in my mouth with the light. Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. Although I don't think I can make a whistle while there is a camera in my mouth, but it is an interesting idea, and I will try to get on that for you guys. All right, guys. David Patrick Green, tell your friends about me. Not that I'm making any money off this. As you've noticed, there's no commercials on my channel. Anyway, hopefully I can help. And as they say, what comes around goes around. So, spread the love. Spread the love and spread the whistle. Talk to you soon.